Those 4 Lee College students accused of pulling off the biggest burglary ring in Cleveland's history pleaded guilty in court today. Kevin Gentry, Mark Orletsky, and Timothy may face up to 20 years in jail. They pleaded guilty to burglary, felony theft, and armed robbery. Now, those 3 met bail, and 19-year-old Tom Elliott is still in custody of the Bradley County Sheriff's Department. He pleaded guilty to burglary and felony theft, and he faces a 12-year maximum sentence. Bail was reduced to $25,000 today, so he and the other 3 may appear in a Georgia courtroom facing charges of bank robbery tomorrow.
Baseball's all-time hit leader Pete Rose has been hit with a lifetime suspension for betting on his own team, the Cincinnati Reds. Commissioner Bart Giamatti said he determined Rose's fate based on evidence supplied by a 225-page report prepared by an attorney. Sports Director Russ Riesinger is standing by live at the Chattanooga Classic with more on this. Russ?
Cindy, it is a lifetime suspension for Pete Rose, but under baseball rules, he'll be eligible for reinstatement in 1 year. Commissioner Bart Giamatti called the banishment the end of a sorry episode for Pete Rose. Meanwhile, Rose held his own news conference this afternoon, and it looked for a while like he was holding back tears. He said that he's made mistakes, but he denied betting on baseball games.
Well, regardless of what the commissioner says today, I did not bet on baseball. That's all I can say.
Rose also said that he's confident that he will someday be reinstated. However, Commissioner Giamatti said there is no guarantee that that will happen. We'll have more coming up in sports.
All right. Thank you, Russ. Rose started managing the Cincinnati Reds in 1984. His playing career began with them in 1963.
Well, attorneys are urging the city of Chattanooga to appeal a federal court ruling ordering a new form of city government here. But city commissioners have not decided yet whether to take that advice. Eyewitness News reporter Scott Montgomery brings us up to date on that story.
Attorneys briefed city commissioners during a closed meeting at the Mountain City Club. Photographers were allowed to take a few pictures before the briefing started. It lasted 2.5 hours. All the commissioners were there except Ron Littlefield. He's out of town. The meeting grew out of a federal court ruling against the city earlier this month. It ordered Chattanooga to come up with a new form of government to give blacks a bigger voice. Attorney Vincent Fontana says the judge made several mistakes in that ruling, although he would not spell them out or predict whether an appeal would be successful.
Good chance, bad chance is very difficult to evaluate. I feel very strongly that there are valid grounds to appeal. I would not have recommended an appeal unless there were sufficient grounds.
I think we need to decide what we're going to do fairly soon. That may be 1 week, that may be a month. I'm not sure when we're going to have a full commission.
Technically, the city now has just 2 months to present a plan for change to federal judge Alan Edgar. But if the city does appeal, there's a good chance that deadline will be extended. Scott Montgomery, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
When we come back, something everyone fears, a break-in at your home while on vacation.
But what about those giveaway papers in your front yard? That has one man hopping mad tonight. He says it's a dead giveaway. We'll have the tape. More Chattanooga women are doing something they thought they'd never do, and that's buying handguns. A string of rapes in the Avondale area is prompting women to arm themselves. One woman told our Mary Kate Wells today she just couldn't live in the fear any longer.
If you had a gun in this particular case, they might have taken away from you and used it on you. So
gun store owners like Carl Poston are taking more and more calls like this one from women who want to buy their first handgun.
I was dead in the man's face. He was standing right there by that tree, right there in front of.
Florence Griffin lives in Avondale. She bought this gun on Tuesday morning, just hours after she saw a prowler who fit the rapist's description outside this window. She said it took police 20 minutes to arrive. That's when she realized she had to protect herself.
I didn't know what this guy was going to do, and I said, rather than me stand up shivering and shaking and like that again, I just decided I was going to have to protect myself.
So you bought a gun?
Right.
Area gun stores now stock guns like this, specifically for women. And they say more women are buying them.
as far as percent increase, probably 20 to 30%, I'd say. We're getting with women, first-time buyers that want a handgun for home protection
No one knows exactly how many women have bought handguns since the rash of rapes began here in the Avondale, East Chattanooga area. But until police catch this rapist, many women say they'll arm themselves against him. Mary Kate Wells, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
And Chattanooga police have made no arrest in that so-called towel rapist case. They say their investigation is continuing.
Hamilton County's chief deputy says the state of Tennessee is making an honest effort to remove all of its inmates from the county jail. But Jim Hammond doesn't think the state will meet its deadline to move all 200 of them out by the end of this year. So state inmates will continue to cause a crowding problem for the county jail.
Well, I don't think they're playing with us. I do believe being government entities, there's going to be the bureaucratic snags that are going to slow it down. But I think there's enough people now who are holding the principal's feet to the fire that there will be results.
The state could start moving inmates out of the county jail by the middle of next month. Well, each Wednesday, about 70,000 Hamilton County residents have something in common. The quality shopper lands in their driveways.
In fact, here's a look at it, and I'm sure this paper has littered your yard from time to time. It's full of advertisements from car dealers to landscapers, and it's delivered to your house at no cost to you, whether you want it or not. Now, not everybody likes this service, and our On Your Side reporter, Tamara Lister, has found out that you can do something about it.
Well, yeah, a lot of folks enjoy getting the Quality Shopper, the Penny Saver, and different papers like this. In fact, a recent survey showed that 76% of the folks who receive this read it on a fairly regular basis. So that's a lot of people who like to receive this paper. However, there are those who fall in the remaining 24%, and a Brainerd man says he's one of them. He says he's called many times to get delivery stopped without success, and he says only after threatening to take out a litter warrant was the service canceled. And he asked me to find out why it took so long. Bill Berry says he doesn't get to go on vacation very often, but when he gets the chance, he follows all the recommended procedures for burglar-proofing his home. He puts his lights on timers, cuts his grass, stops his newspapers and mail. He even asks the Quality Shopper be stopped.
I did everything you're supposed to do to keep a burglar from knowing that you're not home. I come home, I was gone almost a week. I come home, that paper's been laying in my yard all week. It just looks like an open invitation to a burglar that you're not home.
Berry says he's since called the Quality Shopper many times asking his delivery be stopped.
The only satisfaction I finally got after about 10 or 12 calls out to the Quality Shopper was when I threatened to call you and also threatened, suggested that I might have a warrant sworn out for littering my yard.
And his neighborhood. Now, I took a quick drive around the block and found 9 Quality Shoppers still laying in driveways one day later.
How come a company that's in business to sell ads and things can invade my privacy and invade my property and throw stuff in my yard that I ask them not to throw? And by what license do they have?
That's a fair enough question. So I went to see the distribution manager at the Quality Shopper. Though the company would not give permission for an interview on camera, Andy Dodds did explain procedures for handling complaints and requests.
Now, Dodds tells me that if a call to stop delivery comes through, the carrier is notified. Occasionally he or she slips up, but by the 3rd complaint, Dodds says he'll physically remove the papers himself if he has to. The carrier is also fined, and the same thing goes for folks requesting a delivery. As for Mr. Berry, the paper has only 3 complaints on file, and the 3rd one is the one that stopped the delivery.
So what do you need to tell the Quality Shopper if you want delivery stopped to your home?
People make a couple of mistakes. First off is they tell their carrier rather than calling the office. The carrier could change routes or quit his job, and then nobody would know, and the service would start to you again. Call the office, leave your name, telephone number, and address. Now, they're not going to bicker at you and try to get you to buy ads or anything with that information. They just want to make sure they can follow up on the complaint either by phone call or letter to make sure that your service is okay now, whether you want the paper or don't want the paper.
He also raised an interesting question. Why do they have the right to throw a paper in your yard?
Yeah, you know, he considers it litter, and some other people might feel that way also. And I talked to the general manager out there at the paper to find out what he, thought gave him the right. He said the First Amendment, the right to share information and impart information. He says now some people might not want the information, and he'll make every step toward not delivering that information if that's what people request.
So if you don't want it, call him and he'll come pick it up.
Call him and make sure you leave that information, because if you don't leave the information or just irate and call screaming, they don't know what you want.
Okay. Thank you, Tamara.
Okay.
All right. Well, a line of thunderstorms is still moving through the area, and things are heating up a little bit outside.
Real steamy. Chief Meteorologist Paul Barris is in our Weather Command. Not much relief, huh, Paul?
Just a little bit, but the heat's coming back for the next couple of days. I'll tell you all about it in just a minute.
Paul's here now to talk about all the activity going on.
A lot of thunder and lightning.
You got caught under one. You got pretty wet.
I told the engineers here at Channel 3 to turn on the generator. We have a generator here in case lightning strikes and puts us out of business. We have a generator to keep us going. It's a good thing I did, because we had some big thunder bumpers here, right here at Channel 3, and we had about a half-inch of rain in just about 20 minutes time or so. That's a lot of rain. That's about 1.5 inches in an hour. Other places got more than that, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But first of all, let's check the computer. And as of 4 o'clock, this is what it looked like. The showers and storms were to the north of the city pretty much, although there was a little line just south of the city. As of 5 o'clock, the line that was south of the city did drop to all the way to about Gordon County, out near Dalton. Some big storms started moving to the Cumberland Plateau. As of 6 o'clock, this is pretty much what it looked like. Showers and storms all the way to Huntsville, too. Lots of heavy rain moved through Gordon County, dropping down just to the east of Rome, Georgia, heading towards Atlanta. So if you're driving down the interstate, you can see some more rain. And as of right now, this is the way it looks. Big thunderstorms to the south of Gordon County, out near Bartow County. Another line of showers, maybe a few thunder showers, but nothing really heavy duty out over the Cumberland Plateau as of right now. The satellite sequence, just watch right over Tennessee. You can see these little white dots start to pop up. There they are, big thunderstorms building up, and that's all due to the warm air that's flowing in from the Gulf of Mexico. And this little cold front is sort of dangling right over the Ohio River Valley. Cool air is to the north of that front, only in the 70s. 80s and 90s, very humid air, very juicy air down through the southeast. And when things happen like that and you get that mixture, you get some big thunderstorms, and the same thing could happen for tomorrow. Right now it's 78, winds out of the north at 5, and our high temperature for today, 94. 72 was the overnight low, and just 1/10 of an inch of rain fell at the airport. For my sky watchers, though, I got a lot of rain. Jasper, about 1.5 inches. Now in Athens, the Rosses told me, mainly last night, they had about 2.5 inches of rain. Pikeville, over 1 inch of rain. Sugar Valley, the winter, though, with over 3 inches of rain. Temperatures from 80 in Blue Ridge and about 2/10 from Eddie Hool out there. 94 in Cleveland, Trenton 90, Dalton about 87. The heaviest rain is going to be to the north of us for tomorrow and tomorrow night, 1 to 3 inches in many places in the Corn Belt area, which they could use more rain. And on Friday, showers and storms again building up as the little frontal system sort of drops down over the Carolinas, but will still remain pretty warm and humid. So your pinpoint forecast for tomorrow, again, scattered showers and thunderstorms. 95 in Calhoun to 93 in Trenton, Palmer 90, 92 in Decatur, and Benton about 90. Your forecast for tonight, again, a showers and storms possibility. I think the heaviest stuff's ended, though. 73 will be that low. Tomorrow, that high temperature will be climbing up to about 93. More showers and storms possible. They'll be scattered, though, but they could be heavy at times. Tomorrow night, they'll end again. Those showers and storms will be muggy, 73 for the low. And the extended forecast, no real big changes. Saturday, again, a chance for those scattered afternoon, evening storms. I think it'll be drier on Sunday, and then on Monday and Tuesday, we'll get back into that same old routine. Highs near 90 with those afternoon and evening showers and storms. Not that hard to forecast the southeast in summertime, unless a hurricane comes.
Yeah.
And there's no hurricanes around here.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
That's one good thing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. As we told you earlier, Pete Rose heard what could be the final out of his career. Russ will have more details on that decision.
Plus, the first round of the $500,000 Chattanooga Hamilton County Classic got underway today. We're going to take you there live in just a moment. Stay with us. Well, the only PGA golf tournament in Chattanooga is officially underway, and Russ Riesinger is standing by live at Valley Brook with more details on it. Russ.
Well, Bill, we will be showing some action from here, but first, the big news in sports today, of course, is Pete Rose. Rose was banned from baseball for life today. Put a little asterisk by that, though, because he will be eligible for reinstatement in 1 year.
The banishment for life of Pete Rose from baseball is the sad end of a sorry episode. One of the game's greatest players has engaged in a variety of acts which have stained the game, and he must now live with the consequences of those acts.
As you can imagine, this is a very sad day. You know, I've been in baseball 3 decades, and to think that I'm going to be out of baseball for a very short period of time hurts.
You'll notice that Rose said a short period of time. He's counting on being reinstated when he becomes eligible in 1 year. Interestingly enough, Rose still denied that he bet on baseball games. The commissioner, however, says that he is positive in his mind that Rose is guilty. Once again, Pete Rose banned from baseball today. Well, the first round of the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Classic got underway this morning. We've had a lot of problems, though, because of lightning and rain. That caused a delay in the play this morning, also this afternoon, but we do have some highlights to show. We'll start out with some of the action from this morning. Right here is Scott Verplank, and Verplank will sink the birdie on 2. Coming up next, Ted Schultz. Watch Schultz here. He'll putt for the par on 9. Scores have been very low here, as expected, as they usually are when the pros come to town. This is Dan Shiley right here. Shiley shot a 65. That's 5 under par. But your leader in the clubhouse right now, they're still on the course. But the leader in the clubhouse right now, this guy, Mark Hayes. Hayes on 18 right here. He shot a 62 today, and that puts him 8 under. We talked with him as he was walking off the course.
Well, you can't get too excited first round. It's, you know, there's a lot of golf left and a lot of the season left. So I just hope that I can just play consistently within myself and just see what happens.
A lot of the golfers still are on the course right now, including some of the big names like Andy Bean and J.C. Sneed. We'll have a complete leaderboard for you coming up at 11 o'clock. Right now, though, Mark Hayes holding on to the lead. He shot a, like we said, he shot a 62 today, and that's 8 under par. Unfortunately, the weather has been a real problem here today. We had lightning out here this morning. That caused a delay for about 2 hours. Then it happened again in the afternoon, and they had to clear the golfers off the course. So what do you do when Mother Nature won't cooperate? Brian Houston found out.
Weather has plagued PGA events all year long, but it was never a problem at the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Classic until today. When lightning struck around the 11:15 this morning, PGA officials halted play immediately, and Classic volunteers went to work.
They get the players and get them to safe houses, which we've got positioned along the course, get the player and caddy taken care of along with our volunteer force, and then try to help whatever spectators are out there.
For golfers like Dan Shirey of Rome, Georgia, a weather suspension is like a nightmare come true.
You start thinking crazy things like, well, I wonder if they'll even get this round in today. I wonder if this is going to get washed out.
So while the golfers sit in the clubhouse trying to keep from falling apart during the delay, a decision on what to do next has to come from this trailer. This is where PGA officials like George Bautel check with the National Weather Service and watch machines like the Storm Scope, which tracks lightning striking within 25 miles of the tournament. And after all that, usually officials will go with gut feel to decide when to resume play.
You know, you can't go against your gut feeling on this kind of a deal when you're dealing with people's lives.
And Bautel's gut feeling has gotten a real workout today with a 2-hour delay this morning and another suspension this afternoon. Brian Houston, Channel 3, Eyewitness Sports.
High school football jamborees get underway tonight. We'll show you some highlights of that at 11, and we'll get you updated on the Classic as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Russ.
Still to come, most parents hate it. The kids love it. We're talking about traditional back-to-school shopping.
And Jed's going to take us to a buyer's market for a gold mine of bargains coming up next on Eyewitness News. Stay with us.
Well, everybody likes a bargain, especially Jed Mescott.
And he likes them more than we do, I think. But anyway, in tonight's Tennessee Tank Full, we're going to head out to Boaz, Alabama for the second largest outlet store in the country with Jed.
Take a trip to Boaz, Alabama. Lots of folks
make the vacation out of it.
But for what?
All these shops. The shops. The shops.
Oh, there's got to be another reason.
We're convenient, and we're the second largest outlet center in the country.
This place requires a map. Forget walking. Take the Boaz tram or your own bus. Because with savings of 30 to 70% at 160 stores in 6 malls, once you're here, it's probably too late to change your mind.
I want to look at some socks because I bought some a year ago and I'm still wearing them. They don't even have a hole in them. They're real good socks.
Have you taken them off, though?
No.
Yeah. Now, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for lingerie.
No, really?
Real thin ones and real sexy ones. I'm looking for a new husband.
New husband outlet. Don't see it.
Just kidding.
Boaz has about 7,500 full-time residents. But on many weekends and holidays, that number swells to 175,000. It's worth the drive. You won't spend a lot of money on gas, but the money you save, well, you know where it's going. With this week's edition of the Tennessee Valley Tankful, I'm Jed Mescon.
That's tonight's news. Thank you for watching. NBC Nightly News is next.
And we're going to be back here at 11 for Eyewitness News tonight. We'll see you then.